Hey man, the hardest truth most men refuse to accept is that some women can only feel alive in a relationship when they're in motion, when they're chasing, wondering, questioning, craving. The moment they feel secure, certain, and comfortable, something inside them begins to shut down. It's not rational, it's not malicious, and it's not even intentional, it's emotional conditioning. For many women, emotional fulfillment comes from pursuit, not possession. They need the feeling of earning your attention, not simply receiving it. And the moment your affection becomes stable, guaranteed, predictable, their mind starts drifting, even though their words say otherwise. You'll notice this pattern in the smallest things. At the beginning, when she's trying to impress you, she brings effort, texts fast, dresses well, asks questions, gives attention. She's fully present, but once she feels certain that she has you, that energy evaporates. She starts giving less, expecting more. She slows her responses, becomes more critical, more entitled, not because you changed, but because the dynamic changed. And the moment she feels your presence is guaranteed, she unconsciously lowers her investment. This is the part men don't see. Her excitement wasn't about you, it was about the pursuit. Most men destroy themselves by giving too much too fast. They think love is built through constant reassurance, emotional availability, and endless support. But the reality is, the more predictable you become, the less she feels. Women feel attraction in waves, high intensity followed by doubt, curiosity, and longing. When you remain constantly available, you flatten the emotional landscape. There's no contrast, no uncertainty, no spark. She doesn't consciously think I'm bored, but her behavior starts reflecting it. Irritation, distance, emotional coldness, and excuses that make no sense. You might tell yourself you're doing the right thing, being consistent, being honest, being emotionally present, and those things are great with the right woman. But with a woman who craves pursuit as her emotional oxygen, your consistency becomes suffocating. She needs the sense of earning your presence. She needs to feel like she's competing with the world to stay in your heart, not in a toxic way, but in a way that keeps her emotionally engaged. Without that feeling, she slowly loses the very attraction she swore was permanent. This is why men say things like, "She was obsessed with me at first, then suddenly she changed." She didn't change, the conditions changed. At the start, she had to pursue you. She had to prove her worth. She had to position herself to win your energy. But once she succeeded, the dynamic flipped, and your attention became predictable. And predictable attention kills emotional excitement. That's when women start saying, "I feel disconnected," or "something feels off," even though nothing concrete has happened. What they're really saying is, "I no longer feel the emotional movement I'm addicted to." A woman who stops pursuing becomes a woman who starts evaluating. Once she no longer feels the need to win you, her mind unconsciously shifts toward questioning whether you're truly the best option she could have. It's not intentional betrayal, it's emotional instinct. The same instinct that makes her chase a man she's unsure of, makes her detach from a man she feels too certain about. So she starts comparing, overanalyzing, testing you, pulling back to see if you'll chase, all because the relationship lost the tension that kept her emotionally tuned. Here's the brutal reality. Many women only appreciate a man's value when he is slightly out of reach. Not absent, not cold, not ignoring her, but just far enough that she has to stay alert. She wants your attention, but not all at once. She wants your affection, but not too easily. She wants your presence, but not without effort. This delicate balance is agonizing for men who love deeply and naturally give fully. But if you give fully to a woman who only knows how to love through pursuit, you'll slowly teach her to lose interest. You'll see this in how she reacts when you start focusing on yourself again, your work, your goals, your hobbies. Suddenly she notices your absence. Suddenly she initiates more. Suddenly she cares again, because now she feels the return of emotional contrast. The difference between having you and potentially losing you. That tension reignites the excitement she thought had faded, not because your value changed, but because her perception of your value changed when she had to reach for it again. Men often misinterpret this behavior and think the woman is toxic or manipulative, but the truth is simpler. She's emotionally wired to feel connection through effort, and if she's not investing, she's not feeling. If she's not reaching, she's not rooting herself in the relationship. Emotional investment is what creates emotional attachment. That's why when she chases, she becomes all in. But when you chase, she becomes distant, because the energy that binds her is effort, not comfort. Another hard truth. When you give too much, too soon, you remove the very thing that makes her admire you, your independence. When your world starts revolving around her, she stops seeing you as the grounded, self-driven man she was once drawn to. She starts feeling like she's the center of your universe, and instead of appreciating it, she feels pressure, boredom, and eventually detachment. She didn't fall for a man who worshipped her. She fell for a man who had a life that she wanted to be part of. This is why women suddenly regain interest when you pull away or go silent. It's not because of mind games, it's because silence reintroduces uncertainty, and uncertainty wakes up her emotional instincts. When she feels you slipping away, she becomes more attentive, more considerate, more affectionate, not because she learned a lesson, but because the dynamic shifted back into the only place where her emotions fully activate: pursuit. If you want to see a woman reveal her true feelings, watch her when you stop trying. Not in anger, not in manipulation, just in calm self-focus. If she re-engages, initiates, and tries to reconnect, she's emotionally wired to love through pursuit. But if she disappears completely, it means she was never emotionally invested in the first place. Your effort was holding the relationship together, not mutual connection. See, when a woman truly admires a man, she can't sit still. She has to lean in. She has to impress him. She has to show interest. Her instinct drives her toward him without needing to be taught. The moment she stops pursuing, it's not because she's content, it's because she's drifting. A drifting woman becomes distant. A distant woman becomes cold. A cold woman becomes unrecognizable. Men get confused because they think love should be stable. They think once she loves you, she always will. But emotional women don't operate that way. Love for them is an active experience, not a passive state. If they're not actively feeling something, they interpret that lack of feeling as lack of love. That's why you can be doing everything right and she still feels unsatisfied. She's not feeling the chase anymore. This is why the men she chased the hardest are the ones she remembers longest. Because she wasn't just loving the man, she was loving the version of herself she became during the pursuit. She felt alive, excited, uncertain, hopeful. That emotional intensity is addictive, and once she feels that, she will always associate that man with passion, even if the relationship was short-lived. A woman who loses the feeling of pursuit becomes restless. She starts scrolling more, dressing up more, going out more, searching externally for the emotional spark she used to feel internally. She may not realize she's doing it, but her behavior shifts as her emotional state shifts, and men blame themselves, thinking they did something wrong, when in reality, they just gave too much certainty. To truly maintain attraction with a woman like this, a man must stay rooted in his mission. He must remain slightly unpredictable, not chaotic, but ungrabbable, not always available, but always centered. When you are anchored in your masculine purpose, she naturally orbits around you, not because she's controlled, but because she feels inspired. A woman can't pursue a man who is chasing her, but she will always pursue a man who is chasing himself. The truth is, pursuit is not about games, it's about emotional polarity. She needs to feel drawn toward you, not just comfortable with you. The moment she feels she no longer has to put in effort, she unconsciously lowers her emotional investment. Effort is engagement. Engagement is attachment. Attachment is loyalty. Without the first, the rest crumble. You must understand this clearly. A woman doesn't appreciate what she receives for free. She treasures what she has to earn. Not because she's shallow, but because effort creates value in her emotional world. The harder she works for something, the more deeply she connects to it. If you remove the work, you remove the bond. This doesn't mean you should play hard to get or act distant out of fear. It means you should maintain your individuality, your standards, your ambition, your sense of self. When your life has structure, movement, and challenge, she naturally feels the need to rise to that level. But when your life revolves around her, she feels the need to lower the energy because there's nothing left for her to reach for. A relationship only thrives when both people contribute emotionally. If she stops contributing, the relationship stagnates, and stagnation breeds dissatisfaction. Women can't thrive in emotional stillness. They need motion, even if it's small. A man who understands this doesn't change who he is, he just stops giving away all of his presence at once. The moment you recenter your energy on your growth, your vision, your goals, something interesting happens. She becomes attentive again. She starts watching you more, asking more questions, thinking deeper, feeling more, because now there is movement, and movement activates her emotions. Without emotional activation, she becomes numb, and numbness is the silent killer of relationships. Stop trying to make her happy. You can't. She will only feel fulfilled when she's emotionally invested, and emotional investment comes from pursuit. Your job isn't to chase her satisfaction, it's to embody your purpose so powerfully that she feels compelled to stay connected to your energy. When a woman respects the world a man is building, she never stops pursuing entry into it. And here's the truth, every man must swallow. A woman who stops pursuing is already halfway gone. Her mind is exploring distance before her body ever moves. But a woman who continues to pursue, even subtly, is deeply anchored. She feels the connection, she feels the man, she feels the spark, and she never lets go of something she still feels drawn toward. So remember this, if you want a woman to remain emotionally engaged, you cannot be the prize she already won. You must be the man who is continually evolving, expanding, rising. You must be the one she looks at and thinks, I want to be part of that. Because when a man leads himself, she follows naturally. When a man chases her, she drifts. But when a man chases his mission, she chases him.